Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Zach Pasquarello, and I decided to start a live stream on my YouTube channel. And I have my QuickBooks up here for my trucking company that I had for the past 2 years. So I'm going to hopefully answer some questions. I'm going to see if anybody hops on, joins us. And if you have any questions about QuickBooks or bookkeeping in general, let me know, and I would be happy to show you. I'm going to be on here for about 15, maybe 20 minutes. So we'll see if anybody hops on, and feel free to ask me questions. If you're a business owner, or if you are a bookkeeper, or thinking about becoming a business owner, or thinking about becoming a bookkeeper, I would be happy to help you out if you have specific questions about QuickBooks. So this is my trucking company right here. I have on my QuickBooks, I've got in my bank feed, I have my checking account connected, I've got my credit cards connected. And there hasn't really been a whole lot of activity for the past few months because I deactivated my authority, which is just basically I ended my company in December, ended up selling my truck. I'm renting out my trailer right now, so I have basically no activity, but this is going to be a good little sample company that I can show you guys and hopefully answer your questions. If you have any questions about how to do specific things, a lot of people ask me how to account for factoring. So if you have a trucking company and you don't know how to do factoring, or just basically connecting your accounts, connecting your credit cards, or creating expenses or creating invoices. I don't have the option on this QuickBooks subscription on how to create bills because this is just Simple Start. And if you want to know how to like the differences between the subscriptions, I'd be happy to explain the differences between the subscriptions. So yeah, feel free to ask whatever questions you guys might have. If anybody has any questions, I would be happy to answer them about QuickBooks or bookkeeping. I know I didn't announce this that I was coming on live, so nobody probably knew that I was coming on. Maybe if anybody comes on and asks me any questions, maybe I'll do this again, but if nobody really cares about QuickBooks or getting help, then probably won't do this again. But I figured I'd try. I had about 10 or 15 minutes of spare time to hop on here, so I figured I would make myself available to share any QuickBooks or bookkeeping information that I might have that somebody might find useful. So if anybody's out there, if anybody's watching and you have questions about QuickBooks or bookkeeping, how are you getting clients on Facebook? That's a great question. I do two things. I do marketing and sales on Facebook. I already have a ton of videos, so I recommend that you watch those videos that I created, but I can answer that real quick. So I completely revamped my Facebook profile. I made it 100% professional. And like I don't talk about family or friends or football or college or anything personal on my Facebook page. I keep it strictly business. And I just started creating marketing content every single day for 6 months on my Facebook page. And then I joined Facebook groups and then I connected with business owners. So I literally friend requested business owners who were local to my area. And then I just continued to create marketing content. And then I direct messaged those people that I friend requested on Facebook 30 days after they accepted my friend request. And that's actually how I got my very first client on Facebook. So the key to friend requesting people on Facebook is you have to friend request people that have mutual friends with you. So if you go to your Facebook, you got and go to Facebook groups, and then you can go to the people in those Facebook groups, and then there's a section called members with things in common. And then you can friend request members with things in common. So I would give that a try and see if you still get restricted on friend requesting people. You can't just friend request people that you don't have anything in common with because Facebook will identify that as spam. Hopefully that helps. So if anybody else has any questions about bookkeeping or what are the challenges you had to overcome using QuickBooks? So I'll be honest with you, QuickBooks is super easy. Bookkeeping, pretty easy itself. The hardest part is honestly just getting clients. So I started my bookkeeping business in October of 2020, and then I got my first client in November of 2020. And then I spent like 2 hours every single day just basically studying their QuickBooks and trying to figure out how to do their QuickBooks. So I really didn't know a whole lot about QuickBooks by the time I got my first client, but it doesn't matter how much you know about QuickBooks or bookkeeping if you don't have any clients. So right now, I highly recommend just spend a ton of time on sales and marketing. And then once you finally get your first client, then you can devote all of your time and energy into learning how to do bookkeeping for that client. Because also, like every client is different, every business is different, every QuickBooks account is different. So you might learn how to do bookkeeping for one client, and it's not going to necessarily translate super well to another client. So don't get hung up, don't get caught up on learning QuickBooks. Focus on sales and marketing. I promise you that's going to be a much bigger challenge. And you can learn almost anything on the internet. So don't worry about QuickBooks, seriously. Do you have any guidance on account cleanups in QBO? Yes, so rely on the bank statements. So, for example, if you're doing a cleanup from 2022, just get their bank statements from January 2022. Look at the beginning balance on their bank, and then go to their chart of accounts and reconcile their account as of December 31st, 2021. Now you have a clean slate, so the balance should match, and then just go at it chronologically. So you can do one of two things. You can do all of the entire year transactions all at once, or maybe just start with January. Just do all of the January transactions, and then you can reconcile January with the bank statements. And then move on to February. Just take it 1 month at a time. Take it slow in the beginning. Honestly, I could probably do an entire year of bookkeeping. I could probably do 3,000 transactions in like 5 or 6 days. And that's because I'm pretty fast at it. I'm pretty experienced with it. But if it takes you 3 or 4 weeks, just take your time, go 1 month at a time. The most important thing you can do is get the bank statements and reconcile the accounts. So hopefully that helps answer your question on guidance on account cleanups. I love doing cleanups because it's pretty easy to do like bulk transactions all at once. So I love when people come to me with cleanups. It's a great way to make $3,000 or $4,000 pretty quickly, pretty easily. And then hopefully they turn into a monthly client after you do their cleanup. So try really, really hard to do a really good job on those cleanups, because they should all turn into monthly recurring clients. If anybody else has any questions about starting a bookkeeping business, or maybe you're a business owner and you do your own bookkeeping, or maybe you are a friend or a family member of a business owner, you're just helping out with their bookkeeping, let me know if you have any questions. I've got my QuickBooks up right here. What's the one function you use the most on QuickBooks? Probably this bank feed. Like it's actually kind of funny. I have a ton of clients who come to me and they say like, "Hey Zach, like my dashboard looks kind of weird," or like I went to my overview and I had a couple questions. Like I don't even look at the overview. I don't even look at the dashboard. I just go straight to banking every single time. I update the accounts, and then I just categorize my transactions as they show up in the bank feed. I don't really have any transactions right here to categorize for you, but I do the categorization on a weekly basis. And then once my transactions are categorized, I just go straight to accounting and I go straight to reconcile. And then I reconcile all my accounts. So I'll go to my checking account. You can see here it's reconciled as of 3/31. And then once things are reconciled, I go to reports. This is actually probably one of my favorite reports that I found out about relatively recently, probably in like the last 6 or 12 months, is profit and loss by month. So this is how I send all of my profit and loss statements to my clients. So for example, I will go this year to last month and I'll run this report, and this is how I send my profit and loss to all my clients. I don't send them like the entire profit and loss, like all groups together. I send them month by month. This is a great way to see how your business is doing on a monthly basis. Hello, Zach. Love your content. Please let me know, how can we add a client who already has a QBO account? Okay, so all they need to do is they need to click on the gear icon up here, and they have to go to manage users, and then they have to go to accounting firms, and then they have to invite you. So this is something that if they already have QuickBooks, they're going to have to go to their settings, go to manage users, and then go to accounting firms, and then invite you. And then whatever email address you have for your QuickBooks Online Accountant account, that's the email address they're going to send the invitation to. How many DMs do you usually have to send to land a sales call? That totally depends. In the beginning, you're going to have to send a lot more. But if you're struggling to find clients right now, it all depends on how much time you have. So I would recommend try to send 15 DMs every hour for 8 hours every single day for 30 days. And if you do that, I am very, very confident that you will find a client. So it depends on how much you're willing to work and how much time you have. But I would try to send 100 DMs every single day for an entire month. And I would be willing to bet that you will be able to get a client if you do that. For DM on which platform, I use Facebook and LinkedIn. I didn't even have an Instagram for the first year or year and a half whenever I got started. So I pretty much exclusively use Facebook and LinkedIn. I don't have a Twitter. I don't have a TikTok. I just pretty much use Facebook and LinkedIn. LinkedIn makes it super simple to find people. You can literally search by people's location and the company they work with and the college they went to. And Facebook makes it a little bit more difficult, but I have a YouTube video that I shared, and I tell you exactly how to leverage Facebook so that you can find people. You just got your first client on LinkedIn. That is awesome. Congratulations. If you have any questions about how to do their bookkeeping or need help, you can schedule a consultation with me, and I would be happy to help you out if you need help with the actual bookkeeping aspect of it. But just keep in mind, the bookkeeping part, the QuickBooks part, that's the easy part. Getting clients is the hard part. So if anybody else has any questions, I'm probably going to stay on for maybe 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, depending on how many more people ask me questions. But I am an open book right now. So if you have any questions, let me know. I would be happy to help. Yeah, 1 hour is $80 or 30 minutes is $45. You can go to my website, harrisburgbookkeeping.com/schedule or schedule in, and you can schedule a meeting directly on my website. I'll see if I can share the link right now. Yeah, it's harrisburgbookkeeping.com/scheduling. That's for mentoring, that's for coaching, that's for help with bookkeeping or QuickBooks. If you're a business owner, you can use that link. If you are a bookkeeping business owner, you can use that link. If you want to talk about trucking or bookkeeping or QuickBooks or whatever you want to talk about, I'd be happy to help. Your client has an acquisition business. Can you help me with the bookkeeping? I'm sure I can. I've worked with over 100 different businesses. He acquires e-commerce businesses. Yep. To be honest, I've never worked with a client like that, but I'm sure I would be able to help. So if I were you, just get access to their QuickBooks account first. And seriously, you can learn so much. If they already have a QuickBooks account, you can learn so much by just looking at how they've categorized previous transactions. Like that's what I do the majority of the time. Whenever I take on a new client, so I'll show you real quick, for example, like whenever I take on a new client, and if there is ever a transaction that I'm not sure about, then you can get all of the information straight from QuickBooks. Like, so for example, here I have this Lone Star tracking subscription. So like if I see this transaction come up in the bank feed, And if I don't know how to categorize it, then I would just search Lone Star Tracking. So you can copy the bank details and you can just come up to the search bar here and just search Lone Star Tracking and then click any one of these transactions. And then you can see, oh, the vendor is Lone Star Tracking and the category is job supplies. So now if I have a question, now I automatically know exactly how to categorize this transaction because it's already been done before. So don't stress yourself out. Don't reinvent the wheel. If you have a question, just try to do some research in their own QuickBooks. And then finally, if you can't figure out the answer, just ask the client because I'm sure the client will appreciate you doing your due diligence and being honest and trying to get accurate information from the client. Like never guess, never make stuff up. Just never be afraid to ask the client questions. 9 months of cleanup, that's perfect. You should be able to knock that out in a couple weeks, and hopefully you can make $2,000 or $3,000. So that's a great client to have, and I'd be happy to help you out with that if you have any questions. So if anybody else has any other questions about QuickBooks or bookkeeping or marketing and sales or even delivering customer service, because starting a bookkeeping business is kind of a 4-step process. I offered 500 for cleanups. Yeah, so I charge my monthly rate for cleanups. So if somebody comes to me, and $250 is my minimum fee. However, if it's a brand new business, maybe I would go a little easy on them. Like if they just started their business in July and barely had any transactions until October, maybe I would charge them, $100 a month for July, August, and September, and then $250 a month for October, November, and December. But yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is my current clients pay me $300 a month. So if they're paying me $3,600 a year, like I'm not going to give a brand new client like a cheaper rate or a discount because that just doesn't seem fair to everybody else who's already paying me between $3,000 and $4,000 a year. So it seems like a lot, and it is a lot because bookkeeping is a necessary service. Like people aren't able to do it on their own. What type of Facebook post should I post to try to get my first client? Marketing has been the toughest part for me. Yes, I totally agree. Marketing and sales is the hardest part. What type of Facebook post should I try to post? So it honestly doesn't matter what kind of Facebook post you post. I will bring up an example here real quick of some really basic marketing stuff that I made. Bear with me for 1 second while I try to pull this up. And I actually used ChatGPT to make these posts, and I made a whole video about it, how to use ChatGPT and Canva to make posts. But I don't know if you guys can see it. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I think it's got to load here. Yes, I definitely plan on doing more Q&As in the future. Okay, so here is a very simple post to answer your question. What type of Facebook post? Future millionaire. So this is a super simple post. I used ChatGPT to come up with the words, and then I used Canva, and you can use Canva for free. I used Canva to create this. I know this looks really bad. It's super simple, but the whole point of making this marketing content is you're not going to blow people away. You're not going to change lives. Like this is not new information that nobody's ever heard before. The whole point of creating marketing content, you're going to do two things. You're going to get your name out there. So people are going to start to recognize who you are by seeing your marketing content. So you got to be consistent and you have to be professional. You got to just offer value. So you're getting your name out there. People are going to start to know who you are, and then people are going to start to trust you. And then you also have to add value to people. So if you help people on Facebook through marketing by giving out free content, they will be more inclined to hire you because they're already thinking, wow, Zach has already helped me so much with his Harrisburg bookkeeping tip of the day. Like I can only imagine how much he's going to help me when I start paying him. So marketing content is all about getting your name out there, building a reputation, enabling these strangers to trust you, and then you provide value to these people, and then all of a sudden 6 months later they start to hire you. So marketing is a long game. You have to create content every day for 6 months, and then one or two people might end up reaching out to you and hiring you because they've seen your posts for the past 6 months. Is cold calling and cold emailing, how efficient is cold calling and cold emailing in finding clients? It's super efficient. It's the only way to get your name out there in the very beginning as quickly as possible. How many clients do you currently? I have 38 clients. So the efficiency of cold calling, so it's a numbers game. So I already mentioned this in the beginning of the video, but you're going to have to cold call or cold email or send direct messages 100 times a day for 30 days straight, and then you're going to get one client. So I know that probably sounds like a lot, and that might be an exaggeration, and you might message 100 people today and one of them will end up turning into a client, or it might take you 3 or 4 weeks to find somebody, but it's a numbers game. So you just have to put in the work. Just devote 2 hours every day to sending emails and sending Facebook messages and sending LinkedIn messages and sending DMs on Instagram. I would do social media DMs before emails, and I would do emails before phone calls. I don't call anybody because I don't think people answer their phone. Yes, I'm still doing cold calls. I'm still doing cold emails. I just started a marketing campaign where I got a long list of trucking companies and I started doing an email marketing campaign to the trucking companies. I'm going to be delivering tips like this, like a tip of the day, but it's going to be once a month. So I got a list of like 2,000 trucking companies, and I use Squarespace for my email marketing, and so I'm going to be sending them marketing content on a monthly basis, just providing value, just getting my name out there. But Facebook DMs, like just last week, I sent 100 Facebook DMs. I'm still sending DMs. You can never stop selling. You can never stop marketing, because as soon as you get comfortable, as soon as you get 20 clients and you think, oh, the world is great, I've got $7,000 of recurring monthly revenue, all of a sudden you're going to lose 2 clients next month. Then you're going to lose a client the month after that, and then you're going to lose 2 more clients. And now you went from 20 clients to 15 clients and you haven't gained any new clients because people go out of business. People grow to the point where they have to hire a full-time employee. So you can never stop selling. You can never stop marketing. You always have to continue acquiring new clients because naturally you're going to lose clients. So never stop marketing, never stop selling. What is my current revenue? I have 38 clients and they average $300 a month. So I think that's close to $10,000 a month in revenue. And that's not counting any random cleanups I do. And that's not counting any mentorships or like 1-hour consultations that I do. So you can do the math from there. I think I made like $40,000 in the first 3 months of this year, but that's tax season. Not every quarter is going to be a $40,000 quarter, but I'm definitely on pace to have the best year that I've ever had in my bookkeeping business. And I'm not saying all that to brag. I'm just saying all that to inspire you and to motivate you so that in 3 years you can be doing the exact same thing that I'm doing, because seriously, this business is not complicated. It just takes hard work, consistency, and commitment. You just have to make marketing content every day. You have to sell to people every day. And then once you get clients, you have to deliver A+ customer service. Like, it's not a complicated strategy. We're not developing world-class software. We're just doing bookkeeping. It's really not complicated. You just have to provide good customer service and continue to acquire new clients. So if anybody else has any questions, I'd be happy to help talking about sales, marketing, QuickBooks. I have my QuickBooks account up right here for my trucking company. So if anybody has any questions about how to do trucking, I once thought we can also offer advertising services to our current bookkeeping clients. What do you think about it? Would it be a great additional revenue? I don't know. That it sounds like you're trying to start an advertising agency. I don't really know anything about running an advertising business. I know how to personally advertise my bookkeeping business, but I've never done paid per click advertising. I never paid for advertising, so I don't really know a whole lot about advertising. Like, I know how to advertise my bookkeeping business, but like if you were a general contractor, I would have no idea how to do advertising for a general contractor. My one piece of advice to you is to get a niche. and you want to get a niche when it comes to the services that you offer, and you want to focus on those services. So for me, I don't offer payroll. I don't do taxes. I just do bookkeeping. I don't work with QuickBooks Desktop. I don't work with Xero. I don't work with Sage. I only work with QuickBooks Online, and I only do bookkeeping. So I think that if you started providing advertising services to your clients, that just seems like a distraction to me. I think you will be much more successful if you focus on bookkeeping and focus on creating marketing content for your bookkeeping services and learn how to get really, really good at bookkeeping so that you can deliver your services faster and more efficiently. Don't worry about advertising. Don't worry about that additional revenue. Just focus on getting really good at bookkeeping. YouTube is such a good platform for, like, there are people making 100K per month as marketing agency. Yeah, I mean, if you want to start a marketing agency, start a marketing agency. If you want to start a bookkeeping business, start a bookkeeping business. I would not recommend starting two businesses at the same time. YouTube is such a good platform for side income. It's a marketing tool for your business. Plus, most of the consultations are coming in from YouTube, question mark. Yes, almost all of my consultations come from YouTube. A handful of them come from Facebook just because I'm so active in my Facebook community. I do offer, like, I help other business owners organize their bookkeeping through hourly consultations. So not all of my consultations are teaching people how to start a bookkeeping business. I also help business owners on an hourly basis get organized with their own paperwork and their own bookkeeping. But yeah, YouTube is awesome. It's really hard to get into. Just keep in mind, I've been doing this for 3 years. So it's not like I just started my YouTube channel a couple months ago and I have 10,000 subscribers. Like, I've been doing this for a long time. Yesterday, I spoke with someone with a business and I got them to purchase QuickBooks Online and to connect my accountant account to their account. I told them I would help. I'm not sure where to start. Well, I would start by, I mean, bookkeeping is really simple. You just have to categorize their transactions and reconcile their accounts. Like, that's all you need to do. So if they've already connected their bank account to their bank feed, go to their bank feed, find out when was the account last reconciled. So you can, if you go to the accounting tab here and go to reconcile, then you can see when was the account last reconciled, and then just start categorizing their transactions. It's really all, that's all there is to it. You're going to categorize transactions and reconcile the accounts. So look at the bank feed, see what has or has not been categorized yet, and just categorize all the transactions in here, and then ask them for their bank statements, and then reconcile the accounts. Upon reconciling the accounts, you might found that there have been some serious mistakes that were made. So just be prepared to have to do a lot of cleanup just in case the bookkeeping was not done properly before you got started. But it all comes down to reconciling accounts and looking at the bank statement and making sure that the ending balance in the QuickBooks account matches the ending balance in the bank statement. If anybody else has any other questions, I would be happy to answer them. I got my QuickBooks up right here. If you have questions about sales or marketing, your channel has been really helpful. I appreciate that. I have learned a lot over the past 3 years, and I just want to share the information that I have. The goal would be to have a big share of the trucking companies in the state as clients. Is it a good idea to look for a second niche? I don't think that you should have a niche when it comes to the industry that you're servicing. Now, with that being said, you can tailor your marketing content to target a specific niche, but if you are trying to target trucking companies, then imagine, like, if a restaurant owner comes to you and says, hey, I need help with bookkeeping, are you going to turn them down? Because if you actually have a niche of trucking companies, then you would say no to the restaurant or the software company. So, but I don't think that's a good idea. Like, if you have less than 10 clients, I think you should take on more clients. Now, if you have 30 clients and you don't want to take on anybody that's not a trucking company, cool, go for it. But if you haven't hit your revenue goals, if you haven't hit your net income goals, I think you should take on clients who are not trucking trucking clients. So when it comes to getting a second niche, I think you should niche on the services that you offer. I think you should niche on the software that you use, but I don't think you should niche on the clients who you accept. But you can take one social media platform and tailor your marketing to a particular niche. That's the way I did it on YouTube. If you look back at my previous videos, obviously I targeted trucking companies because I had a trucking company myself. So I created all of my content related to trucking, and I branded myself as a trucking accountant, an expert in trucking, and an expert in bookkeeping. So I had a ton of trucking companies come to me and say, "Hey Zach, like I would love for you to do my bookkeeping because you know a lot about trucking. Can you kindly make a video on how to do these 3 steps of bookkeeping for someone who is onboarding his first client?" The 3 steps of bookkeeping. You're gonna have to be a little bit more specific whenever you ask for the 3 steps of bookkeeping. So if anybody else has any other questions, I'm probably going to be hopping off here soon, but I would be happy to answer anybody else's questions. Okay, person I spoke with yesterday is the first person I'm literally going to help with bookkeeping. Do I need to start a whole business if that's my plan in the future? Starting a business is really easy. No, to answer your question, no, you can work as an independent contractor for that person. Like you don't have to start a business. But if you want to start a business, it's actually really easy. Just go to whatever state you live in. Just go to the Department of State website. Just do a quick Google search, like Pennsylvania, how to register an LLC. It's literally one piece of paper that you electronically submit, and you just tell them like the name of your business, your address, your name, and then you sign it. And then all of a sudden you have an LLC. It costs $70 in Pennsylvania. It's really easy. It's free if you're a veteran. So like this idea of starting a whole business, it's really not that complicated to start a whole business. So if you plan on doing bookkeeping for more people, then yeah, sure. I would recommend get an LLC, open up a separate business checking account, and start a business. It's really not that complicated. Or if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. You can just work as an independent contractor. Okay, so I mean categorizing, reconciling, and report generation like you talk about. Can you make a video on how to do all those things? I probably have made a video in the past, but yes, I will add that to my list of videos to make in the future. What are your goals as a bookkeeping business for this year? So I will tell you, my plan is I want to hire a full-time employee and I want to offer on-site bookkeeping services. So my plan is to hire a bookkeeper to come to my office in person. So that person has to be local to South Central Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, I won't be able to accept anybody in a different state or a different country, but I want to hire somebody in South Central Pennsylvania to come to my office and help me with my bookkeeping clients. I'm going to train them for a year or for a month, train them up on all things bookkeeping and QuickBooks. And then I'm going to offer this service to other business owners as like a fractional office manager. Because I have a ton of clients who need an office manager, but they don't have enough hours to hire on a full-time employee, and they don't have enough time to train someone on how to be an office manager, do QuickBooks and bookkeeping. So I'm going to hire somebody, train them, and then offer them out to other business owners. Like, hey, I'll send John Smith to your office for 4 hours on Monday morning, and he's going to do all of your office management. I'm going to charge clients $60 an hour, and I'll hopefully pay John Smith $25 an hour. So that way I am profiting $25, $35 an hour by not doing any of the work. So hopefully I can grow this and maybe hire one person, maybe hire a second person. That's kind of my idea. I don't know. We'll see if it works. Love your channel, Zach. I'm wondering if you can touch on sales taxes, when and how to apply. Sales tax is a whole different beast. I know how to file sales tax, but I don't know how to apply for a sales tax license. Also, every state is different. You could probably get in touch with your Department of Revenue. Probably just go to your state's Department of Revenue website and try to apply for a sales tax license. But in terms of filing sales tax, like you can track your sales tax in your QuickBooks account. You can figure out how much you owe based on whatever state you live in, whatever the sales tax rate is, based on how much revenue your business earned. And then you should be able to file. I mean, I just go to mypath.pa.gov or whatever. Like I know how to do it in Pennsylvania. I don't know what state you're in, but I know how to file sales tax in Pennsylvania, but I don't know how to apply for a sales tax license. I know that's a pretty bad answer, but sales tax is a whole different beast. I honestly try to stay away from sales tax. I just try to focus on bookkeeping and QuickBooks. Unfortunately, I'm not accepting a virtual bookkeeper. Like I said, this is going to be a specific service that I'm offering, like somebody in-house, on-site. I'm going to be focusing on like cashing, like depositing checks, paying bills, opening mail, reading documents, sorting paperwork, like in-office stuff, like organizing offices and doing bookkeeping for clients in their office. So unfortunately, this will not be a virtual position. But that's my goal this year. I'm pretty excited. I think it's gonna work out well. I hope. I know a lot of people need like 4 to 8 hours a week of help, and for 50 or 60 bucks, hopefully I get a lot of business. So we'll see. But that pretty much wraps it up. I'm going probably, maybe I'll answer one more question if anybody else has a question, but then I do have to go. So I will plan on doing this more often if you all found it to be helpful. I did a live video like 2 years ago. I haven't done a live video in a long time, but can we get to the level of 40 clients as a virtual bookkeeper? I do all of my bookkeeping virtually. So I certainly think that you can get to 40 clients. It all depends on your desire and your ability to sell and market your services. And also it depends on how much you can charge. So if you're in a different country, maybe your cost of living is a little bit cheaper than it is here in the United States. So maybe you can charge a little bit less. Like I charge $250 a month. So if you can underbid me, if you can offer the same services that I offer to my clients for half the price, then you could probably steal a large market of bookkeeping clients. But you have to deliver A+ customer service. So just because you're charging less doesn't mean you can offer less quality services. I think it'll take you 3 years. I mean, it took me 3 years to get to 38 clients. So I think it'll take you probably a similar amount of time, as long as you devote everything you have to trying to get clients and delivering A+ customer service. Do you have to purchase a separate QBO account to manage your own books if you have an account? No. So this is my trucking company, but you can get a QBO account for free, and you use that to service all of your clients, and you can also use that to manage your bookkeeping books, if that makes sense. So no, I don't pay for QuickBooks for my bookkeeping business. All right, everybody, this ends the stream. I hope this was helpful. I plan on doing this more often. Maybe I'll do this like every Monday afternoon or every Tuesday afternoon. That way you guys can know when it's coming up. But I gotta hop off. Hopefully this was helpful. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.